Well, to help us understand intimate partner violence, we have in studio Karen Pillay. She's an independent development practitioner whose work focuses on the prevention and reduction of abuse and domestic violence, especially for women and youth living in our poorer communities. Good afternoon, Karen. Welcome to the SABC News Desk. Really distressing images coming out of KZN and Mfuleni this afternoon. Both women cut down in the prime of their lives. Are women and girls under siege in South Africa right now, or is this being alarmist? Because this is, in all fairness, not uniquely a South African problem, but the brutality and the frequency at which it's happening is very disturbing at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you firstly, Kashni, for having me. And I think this, I have to agree that violence against women is reaching epidemic proportions, and I want to say it again, epidemic proportions. I think you know, we're seeing it not just here, it's globally. All we see in social media, on the news, is women being shot, beheaded, raped, you know, violently burnt to death. I think we need to take serious action against violence against women and intimate partner violence, because majority of the cases are related to intimate partner violence.
I just want to say that violence against women and children is such a pervasive problem. It affects individuals from all walks of life, all racial backgrounds, religious backgrounds, socioeconomic status, ethnicity. Why is it such a problem that permeates the fabric of South African society, Karen? What are some of the contributing factors?
Okay, I seriously don't want to say it's a trend or a fad now that boys can't handle or young men can't handle rejection. Because if that's the case, then we've lost our moral compass. I think it's the mindset in which, the patriarchal mindset in which young boys are brought up with. I think there's, although we have great laws and all of that, I think it's the implementation of the laws that are challenging for us. It's the monitoring of it. I think there's not enough platforms for young men to deal with their issues, so the result is that they're dealing with it in a violent manner, and the soft target is women. So if there's an issue, the person directly affected would be their girlfriend or their wives or their family members.
Karen, you work with women every day. Now, I just want to pick up on something you said. We have some of the most progressive laws in place. We have a government which has a zero tolerance approach to violence against women and children. So there's strong constitutional commitment there to protect our women and children, but we're just not seeing the implementation. Where are some of the gaps that you're experiencing in your work, and how do we plug those? So
there's a lack of cohesive implementation, and I'm talking about all stakeholders, or there isn't that intervention at all levels. And I think that while laws are great, if we're not monitoring, if we're not implementing it properly, if we're not holding departments and you know, service providers to account, we're still going to have cases like this. And I think we're not involving women enough in this legislation. I've said it before, our Domestic Violence Act, we have not reviewed it in years. And if you look at it, it was set up in such a manner that it assisted the police in handling cases. It didn't assist the victim or the survivor of gender-based violence.
Karen, in the case of the Mangosuthu Technikon student, she had left the abusive relationship. She had made her way out of that situation, but the former boyfriend still gained access to her. What kind of support structures must we have in place in our institutions of higher learning so that we can help female students in such predicaments?
So, for me, I think it's very critical that we have, if there's no social worker there, there is student liaison officers. They should be trained on how to deal with these cases. Even when she spoke to friends, you know, for what disheartens me is when people come across and say, she did notify us that he was going to kill her. There were steps that you could put in place. They could have reported it to the police, opened a case. They could have got the church, church members, local elders involved. The more people that are involved, got a restraining order in court, you know, fast-track the process for a restraining order, and alerted campus security there is a possible threat to the student, you need to be aware of it. And, you know, that would have alerted the, you know, everyone around her. It would have mitigated this. We may not have seen her in a body bag if some of these had been in place.
I do hear what you're saying, but so many victims, I mean, we get complaints as well, rape survivors, victims of violence, saying it's not as easy as you make it seem, because they've got to do battle with police, with doctors, with psychologists, and then suffer secondary victimization. Right here on the SABC News Desk, we covered a story of a female assault victim who tried to report her case to the Midrand police station but was met with no joy. How do we address these kind of levels of insensitivity around the issue?
I absolutely agree with you. And I think I reported it the last time. Even when I went to a police station, you could actually pick up that insensitivity when dealing with female victims or survivors of crime that are reporting cases. I think while police have been, and I think the law, you know, the separate units have been sensitized. They know how to handle a rape kit. They know, you know, what forms need to be filled. They know all of that. I think the emotional intelligence is lacking. So how do you deal with the victim in showing, you know, support in your body language, in the way you address the victim, in the way you even handle the survivor?
Yes, Karen, how do we move forward now? Does it come down to how we socialize our boy children when they're growing up, so we don't end up with a new generation of men with sometimes distorted gender values?
Absolutely. It's from I think from a primary level, from a household level. I think we need to remove that patriarchal mindset, because that's the way we're bringing up our children. And I'm not just talking about the male in the household. It's been indoctrinated in the females as well. We bring up our male children with that same kind of patriarchal mindset. I think we also have to provide more platforms. While there's many programs and many interventions that deal with, you know, we have Sparks in campaigns that deal with GBV and look at perpetrators, you know, the men campaigns and things like that. They are campaigns, and there's no sustainability of actions. We need sustainable actions I'm talking from all levels, from government, from civil society, from communities, from leaders, from religious bodies. We need sustained action that actually prevents and minimizes gender-based violence. We want to eradicate it. I actually don't even want to say we prevent. We eradicate gender-based violence.
Karen Pillay, independent development practitioner, joining us on the SABC News Desk. Thank you so much for your time. Time to cross over to